Looking sharp, man. I want to say we're in total opposite attires today. You're like, oh, I'm going to be like an extra 15 minutes. I'm going to shower. And this is actually the first episode I've ever done in my pajama pants.
Whoa, keep it casual. The comedian's here.
but yeah, I'm just kind of like taking a bit of like a mental health weekend and just chilling. I've been like so fucking like busy, almost to the point where I had like so much exhaustion yesterday. It was like causing like this heavy like depression in my head, and I'm like, you just fucking slow down, Sean. So
yeah, well, you listen to your body, man. That's number one.
Yeah, I'm just chilling today, and I'm really excited to catch up with you, man. It's been so long.
I just spilled some coffee.
Yeah. And yeah, like I mentioned, it's great to see you again. Comedian, actor, entrepreneur, handsome, so many things I can say. Yeah. Just how you been doing over like these past months? Like for your industry, everything has fucking changed. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. Okay, so first week of March, I did a week of shows at the Laugh Factory in Chicago. 450 people a night. Crushed. It was like the highlight, not only one of the highlights of my career, but one of the highlights of my life, to just go and do the show every night and just like boom, boom, boom. Like I was like, this is it. Like, and I'm standing shoulder to shoulder, guys, with the shows who are like Kevin Hart Network, LOL Network, HBO Comedy Special, Comedy Central Comedy Special, and then Eric Johnston from Canada, and then to do as well and, sometimes better than some of those guys, I was like, this is it. Like, this is it. I'm about to make it. I worked so hard, 10 years of just like grinding on the road and showing up, and early in my career making no money and, all that stuff. And then I came home on March 15th, and March 17th, we went into full lockdown.
Yeah, you can't be around.
And I didn't touch another microphone until July 20th when I started doing my backyard tour.
Yeah, and I want to mention that I saw that pop up like on social media, and I thought that was so cool. And you were actually like the first comedian I saw kind of trying to adapt to everything. And were you like playing like or doing gigs at people's like cottages and shit like that?
Yeah, so I mean, I was definitely the first in Southern Ontario to do it, but some guys out east and out west, and there was a team out of Saskatchewan who was doing backyard shows and pop-up park shows and stuff, and then some guys in Toronto were doing pop-up park shows, freedom of comedy protests and stuff like that. I wanted to treat it more like a professional show. So I literally became a clown for 3 months, where I just showed up to people's houses to make them laugh in my car. Like from my car, get there, unload like a speaker. And I invested a little bit of money. I got like a proper PA system, proper lighting, spotlights, mic. I had this classic comedy oak stool that I bring with me. I brought 2 openers, like two of my best comedy friends, Michael Moses and Jason Allen, came with me. And we ran it we ran it like it was normal. Like we ran it like, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the comedy show, blah, 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 15 minutes. And I was doing an hour each show.
Wow.
So I did backyards. I did cottages. I did a front lawn in Toronto. I performed on the back of like a flatbed trailer, and the entire neighborhood was out on the front lawn. And like buses were rolling by and stuff. Where else did I go? I did one at a brewery at Nickelbrook Brewery in Burlington. They did their whole patio set up, and I performed on top of like a garden box, like a box that had a bunch of plants in it. All the plants had died because no one was there to water them. So I just put a piece of plywood on top of the garden box, and that was my stage. And
that's fantastic. I saw another setup. It was like a bunch of logs and like a piece of
so that was my season finale show. That was nuts. So that was at a local Stony Creek performance space and recording studio called Tweedside. These guys bought this farmland with a barn on it and a farmhouse. And they've turned the entire barn into a recording studio and an Airbnb. So like bands can go in there for the weekend, record an EP and stay in the barn and whatever. And then the back field, they've got like 2 separate performance spaces, one that's just flat ground and one that's a parking lot, so they can do like drive-in concerts and drive-in movie nights and drive-in acoustic nights and stuff. And then they had a separate area that fit about, you could probably fit 500 people on it, but we had 100 people socially distanced. And then they built a stage. In the front of the stage, they just stacked like 500 logs of wood, and it looked so cool. And I brought my own backdrop and spotlight, and it looked better than some of the professional shows that I do.
Yeah, I saw the picture. Just aesthetically, I'm like, that is one of the coolest stages I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. So we did that. That was the season finale because it was fucking freezing. It was like 7 degrees that night. People are freezing their ass off, like wrapped in blankets and parkas and Gore-Tex and all that kind of stuff. And we all still killed. The opening comics killed, and I did very well in my hour. And it was like, holy shit, if I can make these people laugh in a farmer's field at 7 degrees outside, I'm doing something right here.
Man,
I'm doing well.
Yeah, you're a total pro, and like kudos for you to keep going. And I also think like this kind of this entertainment is very important in these types of times. Like,
yeah,
the world needs it, you know. It's
well, dude, not only the world needs it, I need it. You know, yeah. I'm like a shark. If I stop swimming, I get depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just need to constantly be working. It's just how I was bred, man. It's just the Hamilton in me. Like, I always think to myself, like, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I'd work at Stelco or Devasco. You know, I'd be in the plants. And not that there's anything wrong with that. That city is built on that, but I'm just not built for that.
Yeah.
So every time there's some sort of hardship, or if I have to drive like 15 hours to do a gig, in the middle of the drive, I could be like, this sucks. And I'd be like, you'd be working 15 hours overnight in the plant, buddy. Like, smarten up. This is your dream come true. Yeah. And then, you know, I took that attitude on years ago. And just seeing poverty around me, you know, Hamilton's doing a lot better now, but, you know, in the 90s and early 2000s, Hamilton was a rough fucking place, man. And it was based on poverty and drug use and all that kind of stuff. And I have a fear of that. I have a fear I mean, my mom supports me. I live in her house. I'm never going to be homeless. But it feels good. Like, I haven't, other than the fact that I live there and she pays for all the food, I haven't hit my mom up for money in 5 years. All my car payment, my gas, my insurance.
That's rare as an artist.
All my stuff, everything is paid for with comedy. So that fear of having that taken away from me, and yeah, Serb was nice. Serb was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I started making money again, I went off Serb. I'm like, I don't need this anymore. I'm doing well again. Like, I'm in Ottawa right now on tour. Like, this is not my condo. This is not my art. Every comedy condo has just random pictures on the wall.
Facts.
Yeah, I always see that watching like comedy podcasts too, like when they're in like random places and shit, like Airbnbs and stuff.
Yeah, I'm in a condo in Little Italy in Ottawa, so I'm right at home.
Yeah, and I think your tour is going to be over by the time this is released, but you're doing like Absolute Comedy for a bunch of days, right? And
yeah, so this will be done. But I mean, I just did 5 weeks for Absolute. They put me back on the road, which, holy shit, was like it was like a gift from heaven. When Jason Lawrence, the owner of the club, he called me and he goes, listen, I'm going to give you a week in Kingston, 2 weeks in Toronto, and 2 weeks in Ottawa. And I was like, oh, and it had nothing to do with the money. Yeah, it's nice to make money. But it had everything to do with I'm living my truth again. I'm living my passion again. I get to do, 45 minutes a night and just fucking like throw everything at it, like everything. And yeah, the clubs are reduced capacity. You can only have 50 people in a club.
Yeah, I was going to ask the vibe there.
Yeah, but they're so excited to be there, and I'm so excited to be there. The shows feel normal. Like, it feels like a 450-seat room because everyone's so into it. Everyone's so excited. Everyone needs this. And I've always believed that a comedy show is where you go to forget about the world. Mm-hmm. So I don't do anything about COVID or Trump, or I don't do anything current. I just talk about my life and my upbringing and my parents and my relationships and my travel stories and stuff. And it's crazy how people come up to me after and like, I needed that. Like, I'm like, God, I needed that. Thank you so much. Like, I think I mentioned masks at one point in my entire 45 minutes, and it's just like a throwaway line as I'm connecting two jokes. That's it.
Oh wow. No, that's such a cool like attitude to have. And do you find like maybe the people are more enthusiastic to be there now, like since after the lockdown? Because we had a moment where we just couldn't go anywhere, and now this is kind of like a step into things being like slightly normal again. Like it's like,
yeah, everyone's thrown around this word normal, and you know, as someone with depression, anxiety, as you and I both have, normal is you learn, you know, when am I going to be normal again? When is everything going to be normal again? When am I going to feel normal again? And this whole situation has fucked up a lot of people's idea of normal and a lot of people's expectations of normal. But I'll tell you, it feels pretty fucking normal. Like, people are excited. People are stoked. I'm doing some of the best shows of my career. You know, I say that often, it was one of the best shows of my career, but because every show I try to be better. So every show tops the last show. Every show I want to be different. Every show I want to bring a new energy to a joke. Even if I'm doing new or the same material, I bring new energy to it, a new act out, or a new, I stress a new line in a certain way or whatever. I have to make it exciting and new for me, or you go fucking crazy. That's why, like, you see those old comics who have been on the road for too long and they're just running their act like it's like a monologue and there's no audience connection. There's nothing. I don't do that. I have to make it new. There's a comic out of Toronto, Danny Martinello, a good friend of mine. He said, every night, refine your muse. Refine the reason why you love it. And it's a great piece of advice. And I do. Every night something happens when I'm like, I am in the right place and I am doing exactly what I should be doing.
Yeah, and it probably consistently makes it exciting. I kind of have a similar spirit with doing this podcast, and you've seen like the way it grew. I think you were like in one of my first
10 episodes or something.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah, this is
crazy.
This is a long time coming, the part 2. Like,
I don't remember if I had just broken up with my girl that I was going to be engaged to, or I was still with her when we did that first podcast. And that's how long ago it was.
I think it was just after the breakup, because I remember.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of podcasts.
We had a good, heart-to-heart talk.
I remember that because I was doing a lot of podcasts because it was my therapy. Comedians, some comedians go to actual therapy, but a lot of comics just go on podcasts. Like, I gotta talk this out with somebody. I don't care who's watching.
Yeah, or just bring it on stage with you too. And
but dude, I gotta give you a compliment to watch this podcast grow from that little studio. I mean, you're in your house now, which obviously COVID, but I mean the guests that you're getting with Strombo and some of the other, Canadian celebrity guests that you've been able to, Kim Mitchell and stuff, dude. I am so unbelievably proud of you. And I'd like to think that I inspired you a lot. Hardworking guy inspires another guy.
You know what? Yeah, I'll give you that. The energy is infectious. It's very important to me to like surround, like, even though I don't see you a lot in real life, like you're always popping up on my social media, and it's I don't know. I had this talk with on my Biff episode where we were just talking about like your brain's kind of like your stomach, it's like if you start eating bad food, you're going to get sick or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's so important for me to just have like guys with like your spirit, like just randomly show up on my timeline too. It's just like the energy is infectious, and you and so many people I don't know, just kind of keep my head up, and shit like that.
I can tell. I can tell when you're going down and I can see it. And that's sometimes I just do it very subtly. If you're like, I want to do this, and I just hit you with a like or hit you with like a heart or something, or hit you with a comment. Cause I know what that's like, man. And I've been there, and life and especially life in the entertainment industry is a fucking roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And you pay for it, physically, mentally, relationship wise, friendship wise, financially. But I the only thing I can say is it's worth it. It's so fucking worth it.
Yeah, it just feels like I'm supposed to be doing this almost unconsciously. Like it's not like, even though things are growing and stuff, and I'm working my ass off, like almost like an insane amount, it's starting to not feel like work. It's like, this is my existence. This is part of me. And I'm sure that's like your comedy as well.
100%, man. I have nothing else to say other than it's worth it. Keep going. I see you. You're seen. You're heard.
Much
you're
love.
loved. You're loved.
I appreciate it too. It's interesting too. There's some things not like set in stone, but like some things around the corner that might be very exciting with the show. And it's one thing I'm finding it very interesting is I don't have a huge audience, but the audience I have is very, very engaging, to the point where all these publicists of like big names are hitting me up wanting their people to do my show. And I got not a strange one, I got a wicked one in my email this week. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a fucking fan of this guy. Like how, and at the beginning you saw like I'm reaching out to my community of friends from like comedy and music, trying to build this thing. And now it's not like, I'm not like running and searching for guests. Like I'm just getting like flooded to the point where I can't even cater to everybody. So I try to like,
if you build it, they will come, my friend. If you build it, they will come.
It's so
and there's
true.
a certain amount of, if you want to get spiritual about it and talk about manifestation and all that stuff. And, you know, I have a couple friends who are part-time witches.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there.
With crystals and energy and the moon and charging water and stuff in the moonlight and all that kind of stuff. And I have some people who have my back on that way, you know, or people are like, I'm manifesting this for you. I put you on my altar last night. And I'm like, nice.
It's working.
But you know what also is just a lot of hard work, man, and showing up. 90% of the job is showing up.
Yeah, definitely.
And that works for comedy, for music, for podcasts, for art, for teaching, whatever it is. Just show up. You know, I've gotten a lot of opportunities in my career. Yeah, I'm very funny, and I take pride in that. And that in my performance, in my writing ability. Yeah, that's all great. But I'm a fucking hard worker, and
facts.
And I know that. And people, that's the number one. You know, people can say whatever order you put these in. I don't care what order they say. They say funny, hard worker, sharp dresser. If you say any of those three things in any order, that's the vibe that I'm trying to give off. Like, I'm the only guy who puts on fucking cologne for a Zoom call. You know what I
mean?
Yeah, you were like, I got to take a shower. It's like, they can't smell you, Eric.
Yeah, pride of ownership, man. And I just learned that in entertainment, your face and your aura and your body and your clothes and stuff, that's your fucking business card. Mm-hmm. And no shade on you, because I know you're wearing your pajamas right now. But
it's okay.
Even that kind of works for you. You know what I mean? The kind of the wandering Sean of let's gather information and gather. You know, for me, I've always believed in just like when you see the world sees you. Presentation.
Yeah, true.
And if what you want to give to the world is your absolute best, like I have in this hallway on the other side of this wall, there's 4 pairs of suede boots and 5 leather jackets of different colors and cuts.
My man.
In that closet over there, there's 15 pre-ironed shirts ready to go whenever I'm ready. I believe in, like, I shower twice a day, cologne, jewelry, whatever. That's what I give. And here's the thing. I've said to create a style, you have to be unapologetic in your choices.
Yeah, you got to feel good wearing it too.
Absolutely unapologetic. Dude, I remember when I first started wearing all this jewelry, which is what I wear every day. Like, I'll go to the grocery store like this. I can't leave the house without wearing my jewelry. I remember when I first started wearing it, you know, guys, comics, and even friends of mine were like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you trying to prove? Who you are? What are you? What is this?
Is that Stony Creek Italian right there?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Nice.
And I'm a product of my environment in Lower Stony Creek Italian neighborhood, but also my dad wore jewelry. You know, I think what really comes down to is you get your style from your father. you get your mom. My mom dresses up too like crazy. My mom's never left the house without her purse and her shoes matching in my entire life. My mom is like class, but my dad's style was like sharp, man, desert boots and jeans and floral shirts and jewelry and leather jackets. That was my dad. And obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, my dad's a big fucking influence on my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I was going to mention too earlier when you were talking about like performing being in your blood. I was going to mention your father as well. He was a wrestler in WCW and like
in the Canadian Wrestling Hall of Fame
and all that shit. And
yeah, that's totally amazing. And from the wrestlers,
where is he? Bullwhip on my water bottle.
Yeah.
And then I had my logo to match his logo. Eric Johnston matches Bullwhip Jonathan. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, and actually, like it's cool that you're like when you kind of present like a show under like your production name. You named it after him too, Bullwhip, which was his wrestling name as well.
Yeah, dude. I think I come from it honestly. With my dad's background. Ultimately, me becoming a comedian was a choice of a dream that was divinely given to me, but it was my choice as a being to chase it, and I've chased it. And I made a small documentary about this called Chasing Footsteps, which will be available in the link in your comments.
Facts.
I made a documentary about this, about how, it was born into me. It was my decision to chase it. And my dad put his body on the line every night. He would travel all around just like I'm doing with stand-up comedy. But when he got there, he had to wrestle somebody. He had to jump off the top rope and get kicked and punched and slammed and come home with bruises and broken bones and stuff just to provide for his family. I'm doing the same thing, but I don't have to wrestle anybody. It's just me up there. So I figured if I'm just up there by myself, they're going to get the show as if there was two people up there. I'm going to be working all corners of the stage like a wrestling ring. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to take them on a trip like a wrestling match is, and you've got the good guys and the bad guys and the loud guys and the quiet guys and the dangerous guys and the happy guys. I am all of those on stage. And, at the end of the day, and this is kind of not controversial, but I'm a heel at heart. My dad was a heel, bad guy. I'm a heel. Now, I'm a loving, caring person, but this is what I do that makes me a heel. So I'm sure if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I make a certain amount of dancing videos, sometimes shirtless in my bathroom, pre-show. It's my pre-show ritual. I've been doing it for years. I just hadn't been filming it. And I started to do them, and I could tell like they're getting a certain amount of shares and whatever. I just did one recently with Mark Anthony Synagoga, and I got like 500 shares on Instagram.
I saw that pop up.
Yeah, it went Canadian viral. And I know of those 500 shares, probably 450 people are making fun of me. They're probably saying they're sharing it in a negative way. Look at this fucking loser dancing in his bathroom. I know that, and I love it. Just like a heel knows when he's getting heat. A heel knows when, they're sharing my stuff, but it's because they hate me. And I do that too. I do. If someone's like, I don't like your dancing videos, I'll put up 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I don't like, some guy said to me, I don't like when you're standing like this, and I'll move my coffee cup so you can get the full image. He's like, sometimes you take pictures and I can tell you're flexing. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And then I'll post like 3 or 4 in a row of me doing the same thing.
You attack the guy.
Clicks are clicks, baby.
Yeah.
The more heat you got, the more money you make. And for every 450 people who are talking shit about me, of the 500, there's 50 people who now become a fan of mine and message me and go, oh my God, I love your confidence. I needed this today. Oh my God, I love how happy you are. You made me happy today. I love your dance moves. We got to go dance. And then sometimes it's chicks, like, I like your hip action. And I'm like, I'll show you more. You know what I mean? Like, as much as there's negative, people talking shit about me,
they're still talking about you.
Exactly. And it's, I can feel it. I can feel when there's heat on me. And comics hate me. Some comics have, not all comics, some comics have tried to bring me down. Fuck this guy. Who the fuck does he think he is? And he gets all these shows and he gets all these opportunities. Thankfully, I have some, big headlining comics who are like, fuck you. He works 10 times harder than you. He dresses 10 times nicer than you. And he's 10 times funnier than you. What the fuck do you have to say about it? And then I've heard those stories from the green room, and I'm like, thanks. I'll be dancing in my bathroom. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
It's all facts too, and like you kind of fit in with like a lot of like some of the bigger names. Like you've opened for Sebastian, am I correct?
Yeah.
Oh, like was
Sebastian? I've opened for Sebastian. I've opened for Russell Peters. I've opened for Jeremy Hotz. I've opened for some major wrestlers, Mick Foley and Jake the Snake, and I get compared to Sebastian a lot. People, and some people say it in a positive way, some people say it in a negative way. Oh, this guy's ripping off Sebastian. I'm like, buddy, first of all, I grew up in an Italian neighborhood, so that's going to make me a little Sebastian-esque. Also, I've been doing musical theater since I was 6 years old. How I tell stories is with my body, and I've been doing that my entire career. Now, because Sebastian's famous, everyone's like, oh, it's like when I first started with being high energy, they're like, oh, you're like Dane Cook, because Dane Cook was the high energy animated guy, right? Yeah. Now Sebastian's that guy, and they're like, oh, you're like Sebastian. I'm like, yeah, but I'm Eric Johnston. You know what I mean? And I love Sebastian. Sebastian, I don't know if before I had the opportunity to open for him, I don't even know if he knew who I was. I think it was just a good booking. And I was at the show, and he's like, you want to do 10? So I'm talking to Sebastian in the back. He's like, go do 10. I do 10. Similar style to him, and crush in my own right. And then I brought him to the stage, and he did an hour, and fucking he's Sebastian. So, he obviously did the best in the world, one of the best in the world. And I was saying to Sebastian after, like, a lot of people say I'm like you in style. He's like, it's good. It's good style to have. Very animated, really good work, really funny stuff.
Yeah, and it's also true to you too. Like, I hate when I think a lot of people, they wanna find the familiarity in other performers who may not be like on the mainstream level or whatever, because that's just like their reference point, and they don't do it themselves.
It's like music, man. If you're like playing fast, punk or metal, people are like,
they'll be like, what do you sound like? And you have
what's your sound? Is that Metallica, or are you more Anthrax? Are you more whatever? You just have to be like, I'm Eric, like that's my style. It's my truth. It's my story.
Yeah, and I find that's the most special shit too, and like when people tap into themselves, and obviously you have, and you're going with it, and it's working, and like it's amazing. Like, I'm so like proud to see like your journey over these years as well.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, you were with me. Well, the first time we did our interview was like 5 years ago, I'd say. And in these last 5 years, I've done a lot of shit since the last time we talked.
I've been watching.
Toured all of Canada, front to back, top to bottom. Broke into the U.S. market. Did sold-out shows in Chicago and New Jersey, in Florida, and Atlanta, in Detroit, in upstate Michigan. And, that's all stopped right now. We'll see what happens down there. But, the best parts of my career has been since the last time we talked. I was doing okay before, and, I was starting to headline and getting more shows and stuff, but I was kind of a little bit lost the last time we talked. When is this going to happen for me? And it still hasn't happened for me. The biggest thing you learn in comedy is there is no finish line. Yes. Everyone wants to get somewhere, but there's nowhere to get to. The run, the journey is the story. There's little finish lines like, a Netflix special, or a Just for Laughs gala, or a movie, or whatever you do. And I've done some of those things. I was on JFL 42, Best of the Fest, like stuff like that. Those were just little finish lines. You can enjoy that for about 20 minutes, catch your breath, and then you immediately have to start running again. There's no stop.
Yeah, even like it's crazy. Like I hear like a lot of like people who do get the Netflix special. Like you'll think like maybe from an outside looking in that they're just basking in glory, but really in their mind they're like, oh my God, I can't use any of this material anymore. I need to write a new hour. Holy fuck. It's almost like the worst blessing in a way. But I don't know. There's two sides of the coin, I'm trying to say as well.
Yeah,
like
no, of course. Everyone wants to get there until they get there, you know, and that's a conversation for mental health and all those different places where it's like everyone says, like, it's like you see that meme. It's like, once I get past this week, I'm going to be all right. It's like, buddy, the weeks keep coming. The work keeps coming. You know, Netflix is, you know, great. I mean, there's so many specials out now that they're not that special anymore. And I think that Netflix has realized that. That's why there hasn't been a lot of major ones come out recently, also because of COVID. But, you know, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I find, you know, I shot a special, which I ended up getting fucked over on. The audio was so bad that it was unusable. It made me look like I was full of shit because there was a lot of promises to be made, and there was some talks with Netflix Canada once it was done. Crave TV was looking at it. I was like, top of the world, you know what I mean? Like, this is it. This is my big special. And then, of course, the company I worked for, they were a video commercial production studio. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to give them the plug because they fucked me over so bad. But they only focused on my audio. They barely mic'd the audience. So there was 330 people there, both shows. It sounds like I'm performing into an empty room.
Oh, shit.
So, and their solution was, I'm like, well, we got to fix this. So they tried to bump up the audio from the audience, but it just gave like feedback and echo, and it just sounded like shit. So that was one. The guy's other solution was to add in a laugh track. To add a laugh track to the points where I'm hitting punchlines. And he sent me a 15-minute rough cut of the entire hour with the laugh track. It sounded worse than just the last gags, like worse than that.
Oh, that's heartbreaking, man.
And so I said, I'm not happy with this. And the guy was like, okay. And then he just stopped returning my phone calls. That was it. I went to the office. The door was locked. They fucked me over for a bunch of money. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, which was sad about the situation, is because I'm like an idiot. This is what you learn in the entertainment industry. Don't talk about anything until it's done, sealed, signed, and dusted. Don't talk about it because anything can happen.
Yeah.
So this was 3 years ago, so I was a little slightly more naive. So I'm telling people, bro, there's interest from Netflix. There's interest from Crave, and they want to look at it. They said it was hilarious. They saw a rough cut, blah, 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 blah. And then it made me look like a liar. It made me, when all this went to shit and the special got scrapped, people were like, oh, so he was just full of shit then. It's like, it wasn't my fault. I was ready to produce it. I was ready to promote it. You know, but the blessing in disguise of the entire situation is, yeah, I lost thousands of dollars. I looked like a liar for a couple of months. But that same hour that I did, if it would have went on Netflix Canada or Crave or wherever it would have landed, like you said, that hour would have been burned, gone. I could never do it again because people have seen it, right? The blessing is, after it got scrapped, I said, well, fuck it. I'm just going to do what I do best. I'm going to go back on tour. And I toured all of Canada with that hour.
Yeah, I was going to mention this tour too. This was so fucking cool of you to do. Was it called like something like the Small Town Tour?
Yeah, the Eric Johnston Small Town Tour.
This is such a brilliant idea to hit.
So I did small towns, but I also did major markets. I did like Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Winnipeg, some major towns. But then I did some towns, like I did a show in Climax, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
The population of Climax is 150 people. I pulled in 130 people to the community
Holy
center.
Fuck, like it was like a town hall meeting.
Yeah. And I did an hour and a half. But that tour, I did that hour 75 times from North City, Nova Scotia to Nanaimo, BC. I did it 75 times in 3 months. So when I came back, it was fucking so sharp. Like, Paul, like it would be impossible for me to bomb at a show. Impossible. The hour was too good. It was too sharp. It was too polished. It was just road worn and ready, and fucking the timing. Every word was selected and placed perfectly. And now, for the most part, that's the hour I still tour with. I've made some changes and changed the order of some stuff, and I cut an older joke and added a new joke in. But it really taught me that, I got fucked over on this special. However, I then took that special, rather than having people watch it on Netflix, I brought it to their communities and said, hey, this is it. And I ended up making on that tour, I don't like to talk about money, but the money I lost, I'm not making that special. I made 5 times as much as that money on that tour with ticket sales and merch sales and, donations. People were just coming up to me in Saskatchewan being like, you got a long fucking road ahead of you. Here's $100. You're fucking hilarious.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm like, I don't want this. The guy came up to me. He's like, buddy, I work fucking 17 hours a day. I've never been to a fucking comedy concert. You were fucking hilarious. Take this money and don't fucking give it back to me. And I was like, okay. I just took $100. Fucking drove to the next town.
That's beautiful. I think a lot of people can learn too from your spirit too, like when one thing hits you that may derail the path you had in your mind, you just made the most of it and then some. Like, it's crazy.
If you want to get dark, or not dark, if you want to get, if you want to get real about it, my dad died 9 days after my 13th birthday of liver and kidney failure. My life as a child was excellent, but there was also some very bad times. And then again, 9 days after I became a teenager, my dad was ripped away from me. After you go something through like that in life, everything else in life is not that bad. It's not that bad. I've been through the worst. I've been through pain. I've been through loss. I lost my fucking hero. So if I get fucked over on a special, who gives a shit? Go on tour. There's so many things in life where I'm just like, guys, it's not that bad. It's fine. People get all in their heads and my life is over and blah, 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 blah. And I go, I know what it feels like to feel like your life is over. And this is nothing compared to that. So life is fine, man. And like I alluded to off the top, there's some depression, anxiety that I deal with daily. I'm getting even a little anxious talking about it and picturing losing my dad at 13. But I've learned that the beauty in life is that fucking struggle. Pain is perspective. Pain is absolute perspective. And I have, without, bragging, I've got some of the most perspective of any guy my age. I've just turned 30 and I feel like a 50-year-old man sometimes because I became a man 9 days after my 13th birthday. Yeah. And people, as we get older, people lose their parents and stuff like that. It happens all the time. I just had one of my best friends, his wife just recently lost her mom, and other friends like that. Those people come to me and they go, Eric, I need you right now. I need you to talk to me. I need this. And that, it sounds terrible, but that's one of my joys in life. Not that they lost their parent, that the first person they thought of is me. Mm-hmm. And it's not in an ego way, because I don't care that they thought about me or just an actor comedian. They thought about my heart. And that's what I want to give to the world. They thought about my pain, my perspective, my heart, my journey, and they want me to guide them to a new place. And I am more than willing to do that. And I love to do that. So,
especially,
I slowed the podcast down a bit there for a sec with some.
No, this is okay. No, this is a real talk, and it's sometimes people like they won't have a loss in their life till like way later on, and they don't really know how that feels like. So I can see them immediately coming to you being like having a revelation like, oh my God, this is what it is. And Eric's lived with this since he's a child. Like, what do? I don't know how I feel. I'm confused or whatever. And
Billy Crystal, he has a Broadway special called 700 Sundays. And it's about when his dad died when he was a teenager. And he said, when you lose your father at a young age, it's like you spend the rest of your life pushing around a boulder where you can live and you can work, but you take this boulder with you everywhere you go. And he says, not until you, for him, and I believe this will be for me, not until you find true love and have a family of your own and become a father of your own, that boulder just disintegrates. It becomes sand. I still carry a boulder with me, but I know how to carry it. And I've got the best fucking straps, and I bring this thing with me everywhere I go. But I know how to carry it. Some people just get a boulder thrown at them, and they go, Eric, how do I fucking carry this thing? And I go, well, I'll show you. You got to strap it from the backside and put it over your shoulder. Like, you know, I carry a boulder with me, and I'm aware of it. And my boulders, and it's carrying around this boulder has made me very strong. You know, physically, because I'm fucking jacked, but mentally, it's made me a very strong man. And it's my, Kanye West says my mental illness is my superpower. It's like my boulder is my power. I've been carrying it for a long time, and I know how to carry it. And I'll show you how to do it if you ever need me.
Yeah, man, kudos, man. And it's one thing I find interesting too, and this is something I used to have a problem with myself, which would make anxiety and depression worse, is like when you get a wave of those feelings, or if life like hits you with like a crazy curveball, like sometimes internally you're panicking because you want to be back to like how you feel on a good day, and you're feeling like I shouldn't be like this, like internally, like what's going on, like your body goes into a bit of shock. But one thing that kind of calms me down, in like whether it's like an extreme situation or even like little fucked up things like throughout the day, like you mentioned, like your team screwing you over on the special and shit like that. It's normal as a human being to go through all waves of all emotions. It's part of like this experience, and it's inevitable. It's like you're not going to be able to run from anger or sadness. And just more and more as I get older and older and like kind of practice all these different meditations, it's helping me like with this internal strength of maybe the feeling of sadness and pain is still there, but being able to just kind of cope and like stand up straight with it and be like, okay, we're going to push forward and everything.
Well, for me, so I was holding my dad's hand the moment he passed. And I cried, obviously. I felt my knees like a baby. I still was a fucking baby. And I wept for days. And then I didn't cry. We went through the funeral. We cremated him, put him on the wall. My life changed forever. I didn't cry again until I was 21 years old. A single tear did not fall from my eyes until I was 21 years old. I had this you can't come in, you can't hurt me, here's a wall, try to get through. If you try to get through, I'm going to become an asshole to you because I'm afraid that you're going to hurt me. I'm going to push you away before you can come to me. I was in film school. I was doing a lot of deep emotional and breath work and all that stuff, and the levee finally broke. And I wept for days. I couldn't leave my apartment. I cried for days. I came out of it, and I started to build that wall again up. And, I got hurt. Fuck it. In my early 20s, I didn't like who I was. I don't think anybody liked who they were in their early 20s. I think, and nothing does a better job of reminding me about what a fucking douchebag I was in my early 20s as my Facebook memories.
I hate that shit, man.
Dude, my Facebook memories is like a shitty episode of Jersey Shore. And for most of my 20s, I'd say till about 28, I was kind of that guy. I didn't like to let people in, and I didn't want anybody to hurt me. And I was softer than I was as a teenager. But I still, in my mid-20s, my approach was, I'm just going to be a douchebag. If you want to be part of it, you can. If you don't, I don't got time for you. I was kind of had that idea. And I created some enemies, and I created some relationships went to shit. I lost a girl that I loved. I lost, a girl I didn't love. That was a rebound that I tried to stick out for 2 years. And again, I don't think they were necessarily my fault why I lost them, but the way I handled things was I'll take credit for.
Yeah.
But about 2 years ago, I just let all that away. It was like an epiphany, an aha moment, for lack of a better fucking word. where I went, no, emotions are good.
Yeah.
Come on in. I'm a fucking open door. If you hurt me, that's on you, because I'll never hurt anybody consciously. Sometimes I do or say things that I don't realize that I'm hurting someone's feelings or letting them down in a certain way. And I will be the first person to apologize for that. It's usually I'm trying to be funny. I say something and goes back too far. I bring up some past trauma in their life that I wasn't aware of. They got upset. I apologize. We're friends again. That's kind of how it works.
That's the risk of being a comedian too.
Yeah.
Like you never know what somebody's trigger is.
Yeah, and I think, comedians say, well, the world's getting softer. It's like, no, the world's becoming more aware of trauma. Yeah. And I carry a boulder with me full of trauma, but I know how to handle it, and no one can hurt that, But I started letting people in, and just, dude, like I am an open book. Like I feel like I'm just standing most of the time like this. I'm taking in people's energies. I'm taking in people's love. I'm taking in people's hate. Going back to that, I'm a heel thing. If you hate me, let's go. Yeah. I'll take that in. I will absorb that, and I will push that, and I will change that, and I will feel that. I don't get angry. I've never been an angry person in my life. I was angry when my dad died. I was angry at the world. But even at that, I've never been angry, because I find that if someone has the power to make you angry, it proves that you're a weak person. You allowed someone else to affect your mood so much so that you've lost your cool and become a very angry person. But there's definitely some times in my life where I've been frustrated and hurt and heartbroken and, just emotional. And I've learned as I become 30 now, and this 30 state is a weird one where I'm just like, I've become more spiritual, and I'm fucking using essential oils and crystals and stuff of people that I make fun of. Used to make fun of for doing that. Now I'm like, where's my crystals? I got to charge them in the moon.
Yeah, it's full moon tonight. Just a hand in the air.
I've become more that way, and I've become more understanding of trauma, and I've become more loving and more caring. And don't get me wrong, there's still some Jersey Shore moments where I start texting girls at 2 a.m. Hi. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm doing. It's toxic behavior. Yeah. I'm single. I try to have sex with as many people as I can. That's not the most healthy thing to do, but I'm having a pretty good time. But that kind of destructive behavior, I'm aware of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like my friend Nicole says when Chad is out, she calls my fucking douchebag character Chad. And she's like, is Chad coming out tonight? I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. But also Eric, loves his family and loves love and loves comedy. And, that's why when I do these podcasts, everyone's like, oh, they got a comedian on the podcast. It's going to be fucking hilarious. It's like, nah, come to the show and I'll be hilarious. But if you want to talk about life, this is where we do it. This is, I don't think I've ever done a funny podcast. Like I say funny things, but I've never been on and done like a full podcast in funny character. I don't do that. Yeah, I'm incapable of doing that, actually.
And it's like a lot of like, I think like in my earlier days of like recording these things too, I would have some comedians on and they didn't know really what it was. Like I've always tried to keep this vibe of like a conversation / interview, and they'd hit me up and they're like, okay, I want to talk about all this, and almost like pre-planned bits. And the one time I went along with it, it was like the shittiest fucking podcast. Like, it was so unnatural and just like
stop mentioning too many names.
Yeah. But it was just like a vibe I didn't want to project, of like the bigger picture of this thing. And it's...
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just think that people, like, it's the common thing when someone's like, oh, you're a comedian, tell me a joke. It's like, come to the show. Yeah. I will do an hour, and I promise you will be laughing the entire time.
Yeah, and it would be better there than you saying it in front of you, because it's about, like, the audience, the energy and stuff.
I think the only person who is in the entertainment industry who can do something when they're asked to on the spot is, like, a close card magician. Like a hand-on magician where, like, you're at a party and someone's like, hey, this guy's a magician. Magicians love that. They're like, pick a card. They can go right into that. I think any other entertainment form, whether it's music or comedy or storytelling or poetry or whatever, when you remove it from its home, it becomes awkward. And I'm great at parties. I can fucking make everybody laugh at parties, because a party is kind of like a stage. You're working the room, and I got kind of Frank Sinatra vibes. I got a drink in my hand, and I'm making everybody laugh, and I'm trying to have sex with somebody. I kind of have that energy. But just like in conversation, when someone's like, "Oh, tell me a joke. You're a comedian. Tell me a joke." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing it. If you want to see me, come to a show. I'll even give you free tickets, but you have to come see me at a show."
Yeah,
and that's really all it is.
Also, comedians, don't start doing your bits to randomly at people like while they're trying to chill. Also, rappers, don't come up to me after a fucking battle rap show as I'm setting up my cameras and just like randomly spitting bars. I don't want to hear it. Just wait your turn.
I had a bit about that. I said, if someone tells you that they're a freestyle rapper, you have 30 seconds to get out of the conversation, or you're going to hear some freestyle rap.
Oh yeah, and they'll just like black out and push you in the corner, and you're like, you don't even have a moment to cut them off.
Yeah.
but with that being said too, like I'm pro people like pursuing their dreams no matter.
Express your art, man. Just do it in the right venue.
Yes, there's a time and place for everything, and everything's just kind of about going with the flow. And like, I don't know, that's something that has been like a common topic in this conversation today. And I don't know if you've heard of like Taoism or like Taoist teachings, but it's like kind of like an ancient form of like being in a meditative state of going with the flow of life. And even like to the point is, if you tell somebody you're a Taoist, you're not really a Taoist, because you're not going with the flow. You're trying to identify as something.
Oh, I see.
And there's even a cool like famous book called The Tao of Pooh, and it relates that philosophy to Winnie the Pooh, because he's just kind of moseying around like very happy and in his own world, and like things don't bother him, but he always like prevails and shit like that, even though everybody around him, all the other animals, they're fucking stressed, they're like high strung, they've got anxiety disorders.
Yeah. If you've looked at all the the anxiety disorders of his friends, it's like Eeyore, depression, fucking Tigger's like manic depressive or whatever. Like
he's
whatever.
like ADD or something.
ADD. One of them's bipolar, and I think that is an honest teaching of just go with the flow. You know what I mean? And I've always believed in that. Sometimes I push the flow and I force the flow into where I want it to go. Mm-hmm. But then once I kind of catch that, I've talked about this on other podcasts before. Once I kind of catch that wave, I ride it as far as I can go, and then I paddle back out to catch a new wave and see how far I can go with that. You know, and I do that with a lot of things in life, relationships, comedy, entertainment, and of all types. It's like, I'm going to ride this, but I also know when to bail.
Yeah. That's something I've been learning too. It's just like, be self-aware. And sometimes you think, I don't know, like this was more like earlier days of me doing this shit, and even other random things in life where I'd catch a wave and I'd be like, I want this forever. And then you end up just fucking crashing into a boat or getting eaten by like a shark at the end of it. And it's just like, you got to know when to, okay, calm down. That is done. It's all self-awareness, and just kind of take a breather and then reset yourself, reset the situations and everything. And I think life like is just a repetitive that over and over and over.
Yeah, I think, and that just goes back to the conversation about a destination. You know, really, in surfing, the only destination is back to the shore. And then you have to paddle out to catch another wave, and you end up back at the shore, unless you get caught in a fucking undertow or whatever and you drown. But I'm saying there's no destination. It's just the flow of that. And I've said this in other podcasts, but I'll repeat it again. The issue is a lot of people listen to the opinions of people who aren't surfing. And that's the biggest issue that we come into, where people who have given up on surfing and have given up on their dreams get out of the water, stand there with a little bit of a surfboard that they used to carry and used to ride, and give opinions about people who are trying to catch waves.
Facts.
The issue is people listen sometimes.
Yeah.
I think my next special is going to be called Untouchable, but Untouchable, B-U-L-L at the end.
Ah, perfect. Hey, branding.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty good at branding. I feel completely untouchable. You cannot shake me. You cannot rock me. You cannot hurt me. I've been hurt. I've been shaken. I've been rocked. I've been all these things. No one's going to have that power over me. And I think people are starting to realize that. You know, the kind of classic, the way it happens is in comedy is this. And it could happen in music as well, and battle rapping. I know you're involved in that community and all that kind of stuff. When you first start, when you're first an open micer, and you start with other open micers, you're all in it together. You're all best friends. Oh, this is some crazy thing that we're doing. Oh my God, we love each other. We're all best friends. We're all in this together. Let's go together, and we're going to go and be famous together. That lasts for a couple years. And then the second that you start to do more than anybody else, the second that you start to tour more, you get more opportunities, you get more tapings, you get more money, you get more shows. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Hold on. Someone's trying to call me.
all good.
I'm back. Okay.
There's actually just a cool picture of you just popped up there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Promo photo.
I have it on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why that happened. But anyways, the second that you start to do more shows and do more, you know, just you become better and you become bigger. All those people that you started with turn on you and they go, who the fuck does this guy think he is? We were all in this together, and now you're going to go without us, and you're going to tour the country, and you're going to get that special, and you're going to get this opportunity, and you're going to leave all of us behind. Then that lasts for a couple of years. And then now, what the point that I'm getting to now in my career is you become untouchable. You become your own kind of entity, your own kind of story, and your own followers, and your own fans, and your own background, and all these things. Those same people who turned on you come back to you to remind you of the times that you loved each other when you first started.
This is true. I've seen this in another way, but you are speaking truth right now, man.
And they tell you, hey, remember we did that open mic in Brantford together? Hey, you're doing so well now, Eric. You should take me on tour with you. And I'm like, buddy, do you think I don't know that you've just been talking shit about me for 3 years?
Yes.
You think I don't know that? You think I'm so blissfully unaware. Now, when I say things like this, it makes me seem like it's still affecting me when I'm talking about it and going, oh, well, these people talk shit, or these people say this, or whatever. People think that they're winning by me talking about it. When I talk about it, it's because I'm just saying I'm aware of it. I've learned from it. And now I'm untouchable. Now you will not come in.
And you can see it. They might think they're tricking you, but I see you. I know you, what your character is like.
And I'm an emotional cat. I'm a fucking Cancer. I love with all my heart. Sometimes I hate with all my heart, which is something that I'm growing to change as I become a man, more of a man. But the people who didn't wrong me, the people who were with me and supported me the entire way and who loved me no matter what, I take those people on the road with me. My two openers have been two of my best, like Michael Moses and Jason Allen, who are headliners in their own right. They can headline.
Michael's amazing. I've seen him a bunch of times.
Exactly, right? So the idea of our show is, yeah, I'm the headliner, but say I stubbed my toe and I couldn't go on. Jason Allen could easily headline. Michael Moses could easily headline. We were all in this together, and I love them and they love me, and I treat them very well. Like, I pretty much make our pay even though I'm the one booking the shows, I'm the one promoting the shows, and I'm the one doing the most time. I still try to make it pretty even. Yeah, they make slightly less than me, but I'm the fucking headliner. But I'm saying, if someone were to look and go, what do you pay these guys? They would go, what, really? You pay them that much? Because we're all in this together, and I have the benefit. I live at home. These guys have their own places. You know what I mean? So when I'm getting paid a certain amount, I go, okay, take that and divvied up 3 ways. I'll take a little bit more because I drove, and I'll take a little bit more because I had to get the posters printed, and I'll take a little bit more because I had to get some Facebook ads, but then give the rest to them and split it up with them and pay them. You know, we're in this together, and I love them. and I'll take them to the end of the world with me. They're both so good that it's going to become insulting eventually for me to ask them to open for me. They're going to be like, yeah, I have my own tour. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then I'm going to have to find somebody else. But
hey, with this relationship you guys have, this healthy bond of both like business and dreams and everything, like this trifecta you three have, when they get a step up where they're headlining, they're going to have you along like opening, and it's always going to keep like shifting, like,
and
there's no ego
Eric's turn again and everything, like,
there's no ego attached to it. We're all headliners. You know what I mean? Beautiful. I'm just the one that books more of the shows just because I'm crazier than the two of them. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I gotta work, baby.
But it's embedded in you. And again, Eric, I want to say it's so nice to talk to you today. Let's not take so long to do another one of these. It's like, I love your journey, and especially like kind of projecting this energy. It's the type of stuff I like to share with people as well with these episodes. And I think a lot of people can just get so much out of your story and perspective. And I just want to say I admire you, and I'm proud of you as well, man, because I see you working, and it's amazing. Like, it's just crazy, like how much you've grown over these years, brother.
Yeah, it's funny when you're along the journey. I always say it's often you don't realize how far you've come until you look back and see all the places that you've been behind you. When you're a comic or any kind of entertainer, you're like a horse with blinders on, just trying to get to these places. But when you stop and take the blinders along and look at it, like, I can't name of a Canadian city that I haven't performed in, other than like, Iqaluit, or, I haven't been to any of the territories. But I'm saying, there's any major city in Canada, I've worked. I've done shows. I've sold out shows. I've seen, I've experienced, I've done all those things. And I go, oh my God, I just want to tour. And I'm like, buddy, you've already toured. Like, keep going, but like, appreciate it. And I often have to remind myself that there are people like you and people who have been along this journey, because, we've been friends for, I'd say close to 8 years.
More, I think a decade. Because I remember I did an open mic while I was at the end of my college years, which was 09 or 10. Or like,
yeah, it must have been 10. I came back from Vancouver.
I think it was 2010, actually.
Yeah, I came back from Van in end of 2010 or 2011, early 2011. Either way, yeah, it's been a decade. So you saw me from when I started to when I started doing opening spots, to when I started doing middle spots, to when I started doing hosting spots, to start doing my headlining shows, start doing my headlining tours, to breaking into the U.S. market, to Splat-A-Lot, the TV show.
Oh, yeah, even the YTV, everything, yeah.
All that commercials, Testicular Cancer Canada, which won a Canadian Commercial Comedy Award. I was nominated for Coca Comedian of the Year this year. To see all that, I go, yeah, I did all those things, but I have to remind myself that people like you watched me and remember it and saw the journey. And I go, yeah, I guess, because here's the thing. I'm the only person that's seen every single one of Eric Johnston's shows. I'm the only person. And I compare what was this like to that like, and what was this audience to that like, and what are they? But I need to remind myself that people are seeing all of this and they're with me on the journey. There's, for every, every bad person, every person who hates the heel, everyone who wants to make Eric Johnston a bad guy, there's someone like you with a pure heart who loves me. And that's worth more to me than money. That's worth more to me than Netflix specials. There's more to me than, anything. To have people who genuinely love me and want me to do well. And it's not even an ego thing. That I'm not saying, they want Eric Johnston to be famous. No, they want Eric Johnston to be happy.
Yeah, that's facts.
And I could say to anyone who's following me, I've never been happier. I'm that boulder that I carry around with me is starting to get chipped away every day, and it gets a little lighter, it gets a little easier to carry.
It's almost like it might be still there, but it's turning into an energy crystal now,
Yeah, exactly, and I'm charging it in the moon.
Yeah,
perfect callback, dude. I'm so proud of you. This podcast is great. I'm happy to be one of the Canadian celebrities on it now, because you're getting a ton of them, and I'm not even saying that sarcastically. You're getting a lot of great Canadian talent, and for me to be one of them means the world to me. So thank you so much.
Oh, and thank you for being on this, and like, especially like it's exciting because like I don't know where it's going, but it's growing, and as it continues to grow, the one thing that brings me the most joy is getting people like you who I've seen your journey and had an incredible journey, and like different musicians and stuff like that, and being able to share this story with new people. I think that's important to me. Like a lot of people talk to me about the show and they'll like, they think I just want the big guests, but that is so far from the truth.
I just want.
Sometimes you got to have me on.
Yeah. No,
but sometimes I want you on, and it's important for the big guests to help my platform grow in a way so I can tell everybody's stories who's out there hustling and fucking busting their ass and just being excellent at what they do. This is what it's all about. And again, like Eric, I'm so proud and
happy to talk to you today,
man. Like it's so cool.
And
we're doing it, baby.
Yeah, like I said, let's not take so long to do this again. And yeah, I'm gonna let you go now. I know you have your show tonight, and I don't want you to.
I got 2 tonight. I got to eat something.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
And I got to re-shower and re-iron a shirt and redo my hair because that's showtime, baby. My daytime shower can't be connected to my nighttime shower. Yeah. 2 different showers.
Yeah, we got sweaty in this episode. The people who are just listening to the audio versions on like Spotify and iTunes, they don't even know we're like doing jumping jacks.
I will describe I'm wearing both a floral and leopard print button-up iron shirt with 4 rings, a bracelet, and a gold watch. Put that in your visual mind, or follow me on Instagram at Eric Johnston. You'll probably see something like that.
Yeah. Before we go too, just plug all your stuff. You're on the Instagram.
Well, yeah, just follow me online. I mean, there's some comics saying that a comedian's schedule is written in pencil these days. You never know what's going to happen. You never know where you're going to go, especially with COVID. But I will say, if you want to see this crazy journey that I'm on, follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. It's all at Eric Johnston Who, EricJohnstonWho, EricJohnstonWho.com. And if you want to send me a professional email, it's EricJohnstonWho@gmail. And I'd love to hear from you and see all you. And I'll follow anyone who follows me. I'll follow you back. Okay, I'm a Canadian entertainer. I want to be part of your life as much as I want you to be part of my life.
To the Creative Imbalance podcast can burn in hell.